One, two, chew, chew. Okay, cut the music there, yeah? Okay. Right, now, welcome to the My Place Geek Factory again. Tonight we have two acts. Well, one poet and one band. There we go. Stan Notte will be coming up in just about 2 or 3 minutes, right? But I just want to tell you all, right, is that if you lose your Facebook pictures or signal, come out of it. I've just posted a YouTube link just above the post. Log into it there. You'll have no interference there whatsoever. In the meantime, keep watching on YouTube. If it doesn't cut out, it doesn't cut out. If it does cut out, go to My Place Middleton. Or sorry, just come out of the post, scroll up, click into the link above it, okay? Now, Stan's going to be coming on there in about 2 minutes, but we'll just do a bit of a COVID thing here. Surgical wipe. And Stan is clinically clean for you now, buddy. Come on up.
Sound effects and everything is great, isn't it? Great. It's the first time I've ever been introduced for anything with the term "it's clinically clean for your nose." Now, I don't think they even said that when they were getting the theatre ready to take my appendix out, but that's a different story. Okay, my name is Stan Notte. You can get me online as Stan Notte Creations. Generally, I'm going to do a few poems here. I tend to write poems almost predominantly using song titles. Hang on, we've got a problem. Are we on? Are we ready to go? Okay, I don't need to go back over everything I've just said, do I? No. Oh, God. Okay. All right, I can't. Sound effects and everything. Great. There's no way I'll remember what I said, though. I do know I said I've never been introduced with the phrase clinically cleaned before. Yeah, and they didn't do that even when I was having my appendix, so that's pretty much what I said. Okay, my name is Stan Notte. You get me online as Stan Notte Creations, and what I predominantly do from a writing point of view is I write poems using song titles. By that I mean I take the song titles of a chosen artist and take a selection and put them together and try and make some sort of sense out of them. So I'm going to read a series, either read or recite a series of them tonight. I'm going to start with one that was written using the song titles of Tom Waits. I actually have a bit of art here with the poem on it. That's a present for Wayne. He asked for me for it months ago. How long? 6, 7 months ago? 2 years. Yeah, well, anyway, the old current setup with the COVID has prevented us getting it down, me getting it down to him. I could have posted it, but I'm a mean bastard, so fuck that. So this is called Please Wake Me Up, after Tom Waits. On a foggy night, in a house where nobody lives, my bones hold on as red shoes with black wings whistle past the graveyard at the top of the hill, where a grapefruit moon eyeballs an ice cream man holding the last lonely, trampled rose of summer, close to the coattails of a dead man. In a town with no cheer, whose empty pockets lullaby never let go of misery, it's the river of the world. He's a sight for sore eyes. In the barber shop, Tommy the cat and a scarecrow full of bourbon, chained together for life by a Russian dancer playing stripped-down hooky piano tunes about angry flowers, dragging a dead priest into a hole that goes straight to the top of the bottom of the world. Where on an oily November night, a sweet little bullet from a pretty blue gun helped 2 lonely sisters murder old boyfriends in the red barn, at the crossroads, by the highway cafe, in the neighbourhood, where trouble braids future plans and nirvana into an invitation to the blues. Is there any way out of this dream when my bad liver and broken heart have that little drop of poison feel, and everywhere I lay my head a late night evening prostitute fever reigns on me like a rocking chair story about how the world keeps turning after you die? And every time I hear this melody, I get lost in a new coat of pain that kisses me in shades of warm beer and cold women for $29, who will lie to me once more before I go and sleep in the cold, cold ground of missing my son. That was a nice cheerful start, wasn't it? Yeah. And it's Valentine's Day. Well, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. So I'm going to read quite a few now together. They're all really short, and I've written every one of these. I've written them since the start of last December. I've kind of hit a vein of stuff where I'm writing shorter poems for reasons that are related to the artwork I do with them. But I'm going to read them all, and they're predominantly love poems, and they're actually all but one of them are really cheerful, actually. So I'm going to read them in honour of it being Valentine's Day. If you're like me and you're not celebrating with a partner, then, you know, what can you do when you imagine it? The first one is the uncheerful one. And I'm not going to tell you who song titles I use for the majority, but I will tell you this one. This was written using Rory Gallagher's song titles, and it's called Feel So Bad. As I'm leaving, I wonder who's going to be your sweet man, and rue the day brute force and ignorance tore down our flight to paradise. Maybe I will just hit town, take too much alcohol for 7 days, until out of my mind I fall apart at the bottom of Bullfrog Bourbon Blues and say goodbye to myself as a calling card for the road to hell signals the hoodoo man has bought and sold this wayward child for the last time. I've just noticed that bourbon crops up in that and the Tom Waits poem. Okay, maybe we should be drinking bourbon, lads. Maybe that's the hint. Okay, so the next, whatever they are, 6 or 7, I'm just going to read them. I'm not going to talk too much about them. I've laid them out in a way that they're kind of like a journey of wanting to meet somebody, meeting somebody, getting intimate with somebody, and then how you feel when you're in that, you know, kind of magical place where you think anything is possible because you feel that you're in love or you are in love. So we'll start with this one called Kiss Me Once. If you would just look my way, baby, my obsession would spark in your eyes, set promises spinning around heaven and earth, and under the influence of love, your inner feelings would surrender to some kind of bliss as two hearts get carried away on sweet celebration music that whistles it's no secret you're the one, especially for you. So come into my world and cover me in kisses whenever you like, baby, because I can't get you out of my head. I'll never stop loving you. When I found you, I got that boom, boom deep in my heart. An untitled lullaby I know was the answer to my only wish, breathed love on me. And then we kissed. My body ached, and I got the urge to run away with your love forever. You are the one. Hey, gorgeous. The moment I knew this love was mine, I changed, became fearless, and a wonderland of peace and happiness filled a blank space in half of my heart. That day was a fairy tale, gorgeous. Your beautiful eyes met mine, and the enchanted story of us found a place in this world. So long live our song, for two is better than one, and I'm only me when I'm with you, living our wildest dreams. I love you. I'm so in love, I'm addicted to your smile, the shape of you, the perfect photograph of your hand in mine. I'm so in love. When nightmares wake me up, I turn to you to save myself. I'm so in love. Everything you are, we are, sings Be My Forever in my bloodstream. I'm so in love. Sleeping with my memories of you is heaven. So kiss me, little lady. Kiss me until the stars fall down on our faces. Drunk on love. Don't even try leaving tonight. I feel hypnotized by the adrenaline of sexuality. Let me woo your skin with red lipstick. Stay close to you. Talk that talk until lost in paradise. I know the never-ending fire of your love. Make you feel my love. Hello, my one and only. I'm crazy for you. Every glance from someone like you is a love song that melts my heart. I need you now, my one and only. So let's go rolling in the deep, sweetest devotion and make love in the dark. My beautiful reward. There are reasons to believe the ties that bind our two hearts lift me up on restless nights. Reasons to believe even when worlds apart, all I need is the promise of your human touch to cover me in a mountain of burning love. That as long as I can be, there will never be another for me. A love so fine is living proof you can never tell when magic will shine silently on a wish dancing in the dark. So high hopes and dreams can come together with warm and tender vibes and two faces rendezvous on the way to paradise. ain't nobody as amazing. I believe a moment with you is a ray of sunshine, where fantastic, flawless love moves on white light, and patience, the final freedom, heals the pain of waiting for somebody amazing to love my soul free. And finally, a song for you. You light up my life. I look to you to take good care of my heart. When it hurts so bad, I have nothing. Just thinking about you brings joy to the world. That feels so good, I exhale an unashamed salute to the miracle of higher love. Oh yes, there's music in you. And the things you say make the impossible possible. So I wish you love. Celebrate that I belong to you, that nobody loves me like you do, and that I will always love you. I didn't do any timing, so can somebody tell me where we are time-wise? Yeah, that's always the answer in Ireland, we're grand. Absolutely no information apart from the fact. Carry on there, boy. Everything will be all right. There's no need to panic just yet. No need to panic just yet. Okay, let's. Okay, I'm gonna. We're just once Valentine's Day is over tomorrow. The next thing on the horizon, really, from the point of view of how the commercial world works, which is, you lurch from one thing where you're spending money to another. So the next thing is Mother's Day, but immediately after Mother's Day, as in 3 days later this year, is Paddy's Day. And Paddy's Day, not that anybody wants to hear this, but Paddy's Day will actually mark a year since we went into the first lockdown. The first lockdown was announced, for the pubs anyway, was announced on the 16th of March last year. I remember because I was supposed to be DJing on the 17th, which was the following day. So I'm going to do an Irish poem. This is a poem that has an interesting backstory to it, but I'm not going to tell you the backstory, even though I've just told you it's interesting. I'm going to tell you what happened after I wrote it. So when I wrote it, and I utilised it in 2016, I wrote it for the anniversary of the 1916 Rising, and I read it at a couple of things, and then I put it away. And one of the reasons I put it away was it created a Bono complex in me. And by that, I mean, I remember when Bono and U2 had Sunday Bloody Sunday out, and when they were doing it live, he used to have to say, this is not a rebel song, because the song was being misconstrued as something that, could be borrowed or adopted by the Republican IRA. And this poem is like that. It can be heard that way, but it's not the way I intended to write it. So I wrote it as a way of honouring the people who died at the 1916 Rising, who gave their lives for freedom, but also in a bigger context for everybody who's done that in the past, which allows us to live our lives, which until this COVID thing really are relatively free. So it's a poem that was written using... I started writing with Wolf Tone song titles. I didn't have enough to get something out of it. And then I added some Dubliner song titles, and I still didn't have enough. And then I discovered Ronnie Drew had a solo career. And those, some of the song titles from Ronnie Drew's solo career actually finished this poem. So even if Ronnie Drew's not your thing, give thanks and praise to Ronnie Drew for allowing Stand Not years later to finish a poem. This poem imagines what a man or a woman going to fight on the morning of the 1916 Rising are thinking, or thinking about when they get out of bed that morning. It's written from the man's point of view, but we all know that women went there as well, even though that isn't as much talked about or taught about in the history books. So this is called Restless Farewell. Goodbye, my darling asleep. Goodbye, my little son. I am off to Dublin in the green for Ireland, my Ireland. I know, my love, this is the day that a lament for the lost and the right of man will breeze from Clare to here. I know, my love, this is the day the Derry Air and Dingle Bay hear the call of bold Fenian men, James Larkin, Padraig Pearse, and that the answer from sweet Tralee to Skibbereen, where the sun and a soldier's song is rising, will be, wrap the green flag around me, boys, and we shall overcome. So blow, ye winds, a dream of liberty. Blow, ye winds, a Celtic symphony. And over Ireland all, let the people sing. Rebellion, freedom, go home, you British soldiers. you'll never beat the Irish. And blow, ye winds of providence to protect. So at our journey's end, when the boys come rolling home, all the women of Ireland see a soldier return. Not a bunch of red roses on a holy ground, and bagpipes at a gravestone, marked here lies a soldier. And blow, ye winds of providence to protect. So at our journey's end, every soldier's son can hug the old man and know once more love's old sweet song. And blow, ye winds of providence, for the working man in Belfast and the boys of Fairhill, who, remembering the flight of the Earls, Robert Emmet, and the great hunger, will win freedom from the big, strong man. I know, my love, in Belfast and Botany Bay, Irish eyes are smiling, for this is the day the foggy dew in the valley of Knockanore and the gay Galtee mountains sings a song for Ireland, my Ireland. I know, my love, this is the day that Waterford boys and Galway girls wearing the green of Ireland, my Ireland, march to freedom. Yes, my darling asleep. Yes, my little son. This is the day. So goodbye, Irene. Goodbye, lovely Johnny. I am off to Dublin in the green for Ireland, with James Connolly and Michael Collins, to say farewell to an Ireland unfree. Good swig of water now and shake it out. Get the old Bono complex away from me. I don't want to be infected with that for too long. Like, he openly says no, he's got a Messiah complex. Jesus, fair play to him. Fair play to him. Yeah, open. And you know what? People laugh when he says it. But anyway, I'm wondering what his therapist says when he says it to her. Anyway, let's not go there. Let's leave Bono alone. Okay, so I'm going to probably recite. I pretty much know this one, but just in case, I've got it here in front of me. So the process I use for writing these poems is that I go to Google, that wonderful hive of information, and then it starts to get technical. So I type in all song titles by the name of whatever artist, whether it's, you know, Ronnie Drew, Bruce Springsteen, and whoever it is I'm working with. This one was written using song titles of Pink Floyd. So in this case, all song titles by Pink Floyd, or list of all song titles. Then you find a web page with a big long list, and then I highlight them all, copy them using the keystrokes, open a Google document, paste them all in, and then I'm exhausted because writing is a really difficult process. And then I have to have a cup of tea and a lie down, and I come back to it. And I start reading down through the song titles, and normally, almost always, you find that they're in alphabetical order. So if you want to do that later on tonight, don't do it now while you're listening on YouTube, or those of you in the audience here, because I'm an artist and I'd hate to think that you're not giving me my full attention. But if you want to do that, all song titles by Pink Floyd, you don't need to copy and paste them, but just start reading down them. If it takes you longer than 10 seconds to come to this conclusion, book yourself a therapist immediately. Pink Floyd took a lot of drugs. They took a huge amount of drugs. So, you know, I realised that very quickly, and then as I scanned down through them, because what I do is I take about 20 or 30 song titles, put them into a document, just song titles I like, and then start pinning them together. And I got down to S, alphabetically listed S, and there's a song title called Stoned Alone, and I go, wow, the thing is practically writing itself. It didn't. Like I said, I'm an artist, I've sweated over it. And this is what came out in the end. So this is a poem that imagines that you're stoned alone for an entire 24-hour period. Completely from my imagination. I've never experienced anything like it. Even when I was 18 and left home for the first time and lived in a flat with 4 friends, and there was loads of drugs around, I was never like this, ever. It's completely from my imagination. And I'm imagining most of you will struggle to relate to it because you look like very honest, law-abiding people. So you're going to have to use your imagination to get it, but I'm sure you can manage that. Stoned Alone, after Pink Floyd. Daybreak. Celestial voices speak to me of 3 wishes in any colour that you like. An old woman with a casket of baby blue apples and oranges. 4 flaming flamingos learning to fly the Milky Way. Green onions in the white of the eye of the vegetable man. Kettle on. Let's roll another one. morning, surfacing like young lust on a sweet July day, sunshine, while waiting for the worms, remembers a day, things left unsaid. Wish you were here, I really love you. Drifted away on a pillow of winds, flashing the colour of infinity. Kettle on, let's roll another one. Work calling, hey you Sisyphus, one of my turns. Mother, power failure, brain damage. It would be nice if I could stay home again. 4 seconds of silence. You're impossible. Ha ha ha. Kettle on, let's roll another one. Afternoon. Loop message from the radio guy. The gold that's in the gnome, the gold that's in the gnome, it's in the gnome, it's in the gnome, the gold that's in the gnome, the gold that's in the gnome, the gnome, it's in the gold, it's in the gold, gnome, gold, it's in the gold, it's in the gnome, it's in the gold, it's in the gnome, breathe. Breathe. Kettle on. Let's roll another one. Tea time. Beset by creatures of the deep, the tide is turning. Sea, shell and soft stone, ebb and flow, ebb and flow, ebb and flow. An octopus breathes in effervescing air while marooned seabirds sing a 12-bar crying song across empty spaces the universe has obscured by clouds. Amazing pudding. Kettle on. Let's roll another one. 5:06. Looking through the knotholes in Granny's wooden legs, I see several species of small furry animals gathered together in a cave while grooving with the picked paranoid eyes go round and around, 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 while the happiest days of our lives sleep in a saucer full of secrets. More amazing pudding. Kettle on. Let's roll another one. Sunset. 2 suns tune up an unknown, untitled, unsung song. An old woman with a casket of flaming flamingos, baby blue apples and oranges learning to fly, gold in the green, onion in the white of the eye of the vegetable gnome, candy and a currant bun. Kettle on. Let's roll another one. Night. 4 minutes sleep eclipsed by the mortality sequence. Confusion and corrosion, raving and drooling, raving and drooling, raving and drooling. Paranoid eyes go round and around, round and around, round and around, round and around. There's no way out of here, there's no way out of here, there's no way out of here, there's no way out of here. Breathe. 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 Kettle on. Let's roll another one. 5:01 a.m. Sleeping. Comfortably numb, I give birth to a smile. Daybreak. Rise and shine sunny side up. Across the baby blue universe, morning glory ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows. A great day for freedom. Behold, the temple of light. Kettle on. Let's roll another one. One more, or 2 or 3 more. Wow. That's the kind of thing that happens there now when you're focusing on Pink Floyd for a little while in your life. That's a health warning, like, just be careful. Do you know what I mean? They're brilliant, but just be careful. Just be careful. Okay, we'll go with we'll go with this one. This was written using Bruce Springsteen song titles. It's called Song to the Orphans, and this was written in the early days of this, if you want to call it a project. Things have kind of changed now. I tend to write, and I can actually decide to write something, and not all the time, but a lot of the time, and write, you know, a kind of a theme that I've decided on before I go into it. But when I started writing them, I had this notion that I would try and write something that reflected the artist whose song titles I was using as well. That worked quite well with some of them. With others, you know, writing is that process, just goes wherever it wants sometimes. So the one I did using Paul Weller song titles, for example, turned out to be, you know, in my view, a million miles from anything that Paul Weller meant to me. The Bruce Springsteen one I often think is probably the most successful one in that regard, but that's just my opinion. You're quite entitled to, when you've heard it, to disagree with me. I have no problem with you being wrong, none whatsoever. You're quite entitled to that, to take that position. And the way I consider Bruce Springsteen is that he's a very rare breed in the sense that he's been massively, massively successful, and yet he somehow has managed to maintain a connection with where he came from. I know he still lives in that area, and that's probably really important. And that was never more evident than when he wrote the Rising album after the September the 11th attack. He really, in my opinion, got exactly what was going on in New York at that time. So I wanted to reflect that when I was writing this. And like I said, I think this, from that perspective, is probably the most successful poem I've written, but we'll see. It's called Song to the Orphans. Growing up in the promised land, I had reasons to believe. From small things, big things one day come. This land of hopes and dreams said, dream, baby, dream. Magic seeds fire with every wish you wish, and high hopes fevered my American skin. My book of dreams? I would be the one born to run across the border to the King's Highway, the chosen, unsatisfied heart to find all that heaven will allow, to bring the rising of one love to American land. Now my book of dreams and glory days are worlds apart. Phantoms of the ghosts of departed dreams block out the light of day. I'm a dead man living a slow fade on the edge of the world, and I wish I were blind to life itself. And life itself, out of work, 57 channels and nothing on, and all that I'm thinking about is the ballad of a self-loading pistol. Boom, 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 out on the street, another shackled and drawn nothing man fades away under empty skies, counting on a miracle, a big paycheck from an easy money factory. He's one step up from the innocent brothers under the bridge whose high hopes are gone, gone, gone. Further on up the road, a mansion on the hill is living proof that it's all or nothing at all. There's the man at the top, the local hero, and the word of the prodigal son. You can look, but you better not touch. I'm looking after number one. Determination is the price you pay for better days. Surprise, surprise. This life, this land has two hearts, two faces. The broken-hearted and the promised paradise. A roll of the dice, you're a fortunate son. A roll of the dice, you're out on the street. A roll of the dice, you're a lucky man in a lucky town. A roll of the dice, you're missing, and no one knows. A roll of the dice, that's what you get in the promised land. So I turn, turn, turn. Because deep down in the vaults, a soul driver with eyes on the prize is always working on a dream. Yes, deep down in the vaults, chimes of freedom lift me up, point the way to paradise, say, come on, son, get up. This land is your land. This land is your land. This land is your land. And I'll stand by you always. Yeah, I often think, and it is, in my view, the most successful poem from that point of view, it really does bring my socialist heartbeat to the fore. How people believe that we're here on this planet to make money and not look after people just baffles me. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to do one more and we'll see if we have time for another one then. This poem was written using Fleetwood Mac song titles. I often think, and I should say this to those, if there is people listening online, while I've told you that I write them using song titles, I want you to remember that and forget it at the same time, because by remembering it, it gives the poems, something a little bit extra, if you want. But if you focus too much on it, you miss what's actually happening in the poem, because there is much more to the poems than the fact that there's a series of song titles in there. This poem that I wrote using Fleetwood Mac song titles is, in my, let's use that technical term, journey in poetry is a really important one, because it's the first poem that I started to recite rather than read. I'd seen a couple of people doing spoken word, which is reciting rather than reading. John Cummins from Dublin, Sarah Clancy from Galway, Julie Goo from Cork, and I was just, mesmerised by what they were doing, and made the decision to start memorising and reciting rather than reading. And I can still remember the first night I recited this. It was upstairs in the Long Valley at an O'Vale night, and I was cacking myself, but I managed to get through it without forgetting any of the words, which was great. The backstory to this is this. when Fleetwood Mac recorded their Rumours album in 1975-76, all 5 members of the band were in the middle of breakups. Mick Fleetwood was divorcing his wife. John and Christine McVie, keyboard player and bass player, were divorcing each other. And Stevie Nicks and Lindsay Buckingham, who had been in a volatile relationship for about 10 years, were going through a very, very public breakup. And they wrote songs to each other during the recording of the album. Actually, pretty much every song on this album is a breakup song. But Lindsay Buckingham wrote "You Can Go Your Own Way" specifically about Stevie Nicks, and that includes a line that says all you want to do is shacking up. And Stevie Nicks was severely pissed off with that. So she wrote "Dreams" in response, and the opening line of "Dreams" is, well, there you go again. You say you want your freedom. Both those songs kind of tell you where they were. Quick tangent. That "Dream" song that Stevie Nicks wrote is such a good song, even the Cause couldn't fuck it up. It's that good. Even the fucking Cause couldn't fuck it up. I read a brilliant review of the Cause years ago. This guy said the Cause make music for people who don't really like music. Never forgotten it. Anyway, eventually Stevie and Lindsay managed to repair their relationship, and they're really good friends now. I like to believe this is the poem they wrote together through me to repair that broken relationship. That, of course, is a complete bullshit. But I have told you that I'm an artist, and artists are vulnerable, so whatever you fucking do, don't take it away from me, okay? Whatever you do. This is called Last Night. I'm going to leave you with that. Wayne, thanks for the invite. Appreciate it. Liam, thanks for the technical work. Thanks to those people who are doing the sound effects. And you know what? It's such a thrill to actually... I couldn't believe tonight at 4 o'clock that I was going to have a show, get dressed up and go out. I was like a child. It was like my first night out at 16 going to a teenage disco. I was buzzing with excitement. Couldn't wait to get out the door. So we're going to leave you with this. Happy Valentine's Day. This is a breakup poem. So what can I do? It's probably appropriate for somebody in the room or listening in. This is called Last Night. Thanks again. Hypnotized by a landslide of twisted little lies, I'm running through the garden where bare trees creep like a highwayman, fireflies frizzle like 24-karat gold, and closing my eyes opens the door to outrage. In the cold, black night, the chain of second-hand news, I'm trying so hard to forget carousels over and over, down an endless street at the back of my mind where the eyes of the world looking for someone preaching the blues, circle and dance, circle and dance, circle and dance, then crash into me and dial the number to a beautiful ghost whose wild heart, emerald eyes and candle bright silver heels ask, do you know I need your love? Something inside me, an exquisite 1,000-day Italian summer I'll never forget, sings for the inspiration and harmony this born enchanter has thrown down at my gate and garden. Something inside me, an edge of 17 tango in the night sings, don't go, please stay, I need your love, I can't live without you. But I need to know what's behind the landslide of twisted little lies. That my dream of big love by a wide Sargasso sea hasn't gone into the sun. That love that burns like the blue eyes of a beautiful child isn't drifting away on death bells crying, come on home to me. Come on home to me. So closing my eyes, I open the door to outrage. Start free, falling into my bleeding heart where the ghosts of no spoken word, the nightmare nights in Estrol and a dissatisfied, fire-burning, crystal blue denim go insane and blow by blow, twist and shout every day of these strange times. Reconsider me, you and I, how I feel about secret love in this merry-go-round of I need your love, I don't care, I need your love, I don't care, I need your love, I don't care until I'm so afraid. I have to laugh at the tragedy of my own soul. I have to laugh an encore when the ghosts, second-hand news, all the still of the night don't stop the revelation. I need to live without you, coming home to stay. And as my heart beats like a hammer, my dream of big love by a wide Sargasso sea in the blue, blue eyes of a beautiful child say goodbye in a storm of heavenly death bells that cry, a fool no more, a fool no more. And then the ghosts are gone. and I'm running through the garden while bare trees talk to me about doing the best I can. Fireflies make freedom is not an impossible task announcement, and a night bird sings my new soul-dressing narrative. If you want to be happy, when it comes to love, go your own way, baby. Go your own way. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome. Thanks a million to Stan. I just hate to be the one to have to come up and follow him. It's incredible what he does. And again, thanks for joining in. If you're sitting at home, the way we're going to work now is that I'm going to do half a dozen songs, some old ones, some new ones, and then I'm going to be joined by the Tower of Power, Connor on drums and Larry on the bass. These are some love songs. Most of them are about the misery of love. Most of us, but when you find it, it's lovely. And when it works, it's fantastic. This is a song that I wrote about somebody. This happened about 100 years ago. It was a conversation that I had with an older person whose name has been changed. And it's about, I suppose, about the patriarchy that women have had to put up with for a long time. And how many women were denied actually being allowed to fall in love with the person that they did. And this is called Caroline's Tears. Say she took a lover 20 years ago. That's what the neighbor's gossip says. They say her youngest child is his. I choose to believe half what I see and none of what I hear. But this I know, he was my friend. He loved her. She loved him. Now he's dead. It's all over now. Caroline's tears will bring life to the garden in springtime. And over his grave the flowers grow evermore. Caroline says that she only remembers the good times. But she sees him again when she looks in her youngest son's eyes. He took a young girl and he returned a woman. The legend of Pompeii was burned in his heart. Venus was born again, yeah, this time by a man. In a Budapest coffee shop, closed from the rain, they huddle. Caroline wakes from that dream again. She cries so hard, 'cause she won't see him today. Say what you will, you won't take a memory away. Caroline's tears will bring life to the garden in springtime. And over his grave the flowers grow evermore. Caroline says that she only remembers the good times, but she sees him again when she looks in her younger son's eyes. Just mention his name in passing conversation. This burden's too heavy, I can't do it alone. I keep his picture right here in my locket. Please do this for me, I'll plant you a flower. I'll tend it every day, I'll plant you a flower. My love will keep it alive. Caroline sits by a window and waits for the sun to shine. Smiles at the passers-by, waves them a friendly hello. Their stories can't hurt her, their gossip means nothing as the sun warms her face. She hears him talk when she closes her eyes, and he says, "Where's my coat? What shall we do today? Buy me a candle in case I lose my way." Caroline's tears will bring light to the garden in springtime. Over his grave the flowers grow evermore. Caroline says that she only remembers the good times, and she sees him again when she looks in her younger son's eyes. Caroline, close your eyes. Caroline, close your eyes. Caroline, close your eyes. Thanks a minute. My daughter's here, so I have to tell some lies. It's not true that I fell in love with a French princess. I don't think there are any French princesses. It is. This is. Sorry, now I'm getting tuned. This is one of those songs that, as the boat pulled out of Roscoff, the person standing to my right, it was a woman, and she kept saying, "Doucement maintenant, je t'entends respirer. Gentiment maintenant, je te respire." And of course, I didn't know any French, and I really wanted to know what she was saying. She kept saying it over and over, and I thought, "Geez, this is a mantra." So it turned out that she was leaving, and that the girl she had left was sitting on the dock, and I stayed there and watched it. And I stayed there and watched what was happening. But as we pulled out of the dock, it got smaller and smaller, and she kept repeating this mantra. And the person she was singing it to got smaller and smaller, and before there was nothing. So she left, and I followed her. And I said, "I'm sorry, no, but I was listening to what you were saying. Je t'entends respirer, je te respire." I said, "What does that mean?" She said, "Softly, softly, I feel you breathing. Gently, I breathe you in." And I thought, that's gorgeous. Can I steal that? And then she kind of said something nasty to me in French, and off she went. So to that lady, I hope she's not watching. Even if she is. Bonjour. And actually for Valentine's, I was going to do, I'm not going to know. Ne me quitte pas, n'avons d'oublier. Well, I'm not going to do that, but this is... I hope there's no French people watching and going, "Oh, perfect. Your accent is brilliant." I know it's not, it's pure Cork. Anyway, I called this Paris 4 a.m., but it was actually Brittany in the middle of the day. And it's just one of those breaky heart love songs, and it's... I guess it's... it's been a while. Anyway, this is it. It's called Paris 4 a.m. I should have stayed at home. Trouble follows me wherever I go, but I couldn't bear to be alone. And my eyes can tell you what my heart can't say. Softly and softly now, I feel you breathing. Gently now, breathe you in. This picture that you keep won't bring her back. What's done is done. There's no fairy tale ending. The words of the wise fall idly by while we fools, we carry on. Who will cry when the truth is known? Will he keep your secret? Softly and softly now, je t'entends respirer. Gentiment maintenant, je te respire. I could never tell you that my dreams would lead you nowhere. You just left without a word. You never said goodbye. Never said goodbye. Never said goodbye. Goodbye. Softly, softly now, feel you breathing. Gently now, breathe you in. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da. Can't beat a French love song. Actually, can, sorry. So, and again, I hope you're enjoying. This song got nominated for a Grammy for the crack. Now, obviously, I didn't win. This man back here. If you grew up in Ireland in the 70s and 80s, you know that there was no happiness here. None. Until he came along. And I'm not going to tell you who he is. So I was 12 years old, I think, when I saw him first. And it blew my mind. And then we followed him. I followed him all through his career, and he brought great, unbelievable happiness to a lot of us. And I know there's a lot of people watching. And when he died, actually, there's a few other bits and pieces. Is that when I lived in San Francisco, myself and my friend Aidan, I think he's watching from Costa Rica. We used to sit outside Robin Williams' house and wait for him to come out. Now, he never came out. But our plan was, if he did, we were going to accost him and we were going to tell him we were looking for his nanny because we knew who she was. And that was our plan, but he never came out. But my friend Aidan did meet him outside a comedy club in San Francisco. And Aidan was outside having a cigarette, and because he's from Dublin, he goes, "Fuck it, you know who we are. How's it going?" And he said, you know, it was very nice, and he said, "It must be fucking very hard to be funny all the time, is it?" And so it was funny because he said it seemed like we made a connection. It's Robin Williams. I guess I'm showing my age. But the night that the album that some of you have bought, the Tales from the Tenderloin, as myself and George wandered through the Tenderloin, we met a homeless person sitting in the shopping trolley who looked at us and went, "Can you imagine if Robin Williams died?" This is 1996. If Robin Williams died and Mrs. Doubtfire found out about it, what would she say? We just thought, this is nuts. It's amazing. So he did die. And the morning after, because I'd been playing a gig, and I got home, and usually because, you know, anybody who's a musician will tell you, or anybody who performs, is that when you get home it takes like 5 hours to go to sleep. And so I usually turned on CNN. I don't turn it anymore because Trump is gone. But myself and my wife realised that we've just sat for 4 years in front of the telly screaming at it. Now, there's probably somebody in America watching this going, oh, you know, anyway. So he's gone, but... So it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then this ticker tape come up that said, reports Robin Williams is dead. And I couldn't believe it, and I started crying. So I went up to bed about an hour after I stopped crying and told Jen that he was dead. So I went to work the next day, and I sat down bewildered, and looking out the window, you know, looking for something to happen. And a robin landed on the window. And so and it stayed there, and then this song came to me, and the other, I'm not a believer in the supernatural or anything, but when I got this back from Dave when we recorded it, and we were putting on a gig in the Weir Folk Club, and it was the first time I played it through the PA, and a robin flew in, and I'm not joking, and I nearly lost my mind. So, I want to thank Robin Williams for giving this to me. Hey little bird, why are you so sad? Ain't this the best life you ever had? If you fly away, I'll be mad. Fly, mama, stay. Hey, little little bird, why don't you sing? One for the fisher and one for the king. Seize the day, let us all in. Stay, robin, stay. Fly, robin, fly, past the moon and on to the sky. Stay, robin, stay. At the end of the day I saw you broken. Your song was more than just a token. To me you sang the sweetest song. Hey little bird, why you seem so low? Follow me around, I'll take it slow. Sing me your troubles got nowhere to go. Stay, robin, stay. Hey little bird, why you so sad? Ain't this the best life you ever had? If you fly away, I'll be mad. Fly, robin, fly. Fly, robin, fly. Fly, robin, fly. Fly, robin, fly. Thanks a million. And thanks to all the radio stations that have played that. And I'd just like to say that's been on Spotify. I thought I was going to be a millionaire. It went on Spotify, it had 40,000 views and I got paid. And it was 30 euros. If that had been when in the 80s, we would have, you know, I'd have like a midlife crisis car outside the door right now. And my kids would be in boarding school in Switzerland or somewhere. On that same night that this whole thing was written, we met one guy, and you know when you go into a bar and somebody tells you their story, and this is, I was talking to Stacky about this earlier, you don't really care if the story is true or not, if it's exciting enough, you know, and you'll meet people who will tell you their woes, but then you'll meet people who, you know, it sound like Forrest Gump, they've been everywhere, they've done everything, you're amazed that they're even alive. And I met this guy, John Dunwoody was his name, but when he heard the accent, that was it. He had to tell me his whole life story. And I sat there gobsmacked. And I have no idea if it's true or not, but it was a fantastic story. And it's called The Odd Truth, because with anybody's story, it's going to be peppered with things that are going to let you know whether it's true or not. Now, whether you care or not is up to you. So it's called The Odd Truth. Well, my name's John Dunwoody, third generation Irish. My grandpa's from Dublin, his wife was a Sioux. I'm pot man, pot tiger from years in the service. If you buy me a drink, I'll sit here with you. Well, I've seen the world over, from Shanghai to Dover, and a queen in Tahiti, she gave me the scar. And a mad dog in China, and a cage howled a story while waiting to become the number 18. So please forgive me if I stop and think a while. I've grown from boy to man, but I'm still a child. And of all the things I've seen, I still cling to my dream that my sons will come and see me for a while. Well, a fist fight in Brooklyn for money and honor lasted 2 days and 4 nights, left me deaf in one ear. And the loving that followed with Rosa Velasquez left me broken and bleeding, but she was sincere. Well, I stayed there with Rosa for a while, we were happy, but my drinking and temper she tried to pull through. Kind and strong, but I broke her. You mind if I go on? In September of 70, I packed up and ran. Well, she named my boy Brian, and this is his picture. This is him as a baby, this is him 10 years old. And the last that I heard of them was June 1980. Rose had passed on, and Brian had 3 girls. Well, I sailed into Cuba when Castro was trendy. Que pasa, amigo, this got me around. In the cafes of Paris, through a bottle of whiskey that I got in a whorehouse from a girl with a beard. And the things that I love best are the small, simple pleasures, the love of a woman, a good German wine, the sky in the morning, or a child when it's playing, good conversation, and a number 18. Oh, please forgive me if I stop and think a while. I've grown from boy to man, but I'm still a child. And of all the things I've seen, I still cling to my dream that my son will come and see me for a while. But a moment of grace is all that I ask of you. That's my life in a nutshell, simple and true. My glass is near empty. It's time I was leaving. Thank you, my friend. I'll see you around. Thanks a million. This is a love song. And I wrote this for the old me. I'm 7, but I look much older. So, around the same time I met a couple of old academics, Jack and Julia Gurian, who had lived amazing lives. Jack was a history professor, and in the 60s he got a job teaching black American history to the Black Panthers. Jack was a small Jewish man about this size, with a Marx Brothers mustache and a mad head of curly hair. And he said he was up for challenges. He wandered into this class and it was full of Black Panthers. It was in Oakland. And they kind of cussed him out of it. He said, look, he said, give me a week, and if you don't like what I'm teaching you, I'll leave. So he taught the whole semester, but at the end of the semester, he invited, it was Huey Newton from the Black Panthers to come and talk. But Huey had been put on the America's Most Wanted list, as many of the Black Panthers were, for feeding people. So he couldn't come. So they sent, it was Elridge Cleaver. So they sent Kathleen Cleaver, his wife, and he said it was the most amazing thing that he had ever seen in his life. There was people hanging in windows, hanging off rafters, and he said, like, he was privileged to be part of something like that. But it was his and Julia's love that kind of started me on this. They would say, they didn't really have, well, they did, they'd been through every religion. They were Jewish, Baha'i, they tried Protestants, Catholics. None of it worked for them. They kind of did believe that, well, they hoped that when we do cross over, that there is something there for us. And we would hope that there is. And if there's not, we won't know. So I wrote this for my wife. And for everybody else who finds somebody to love. These old hands are getting tired. These old eyes, they don't see. This old life's getting thin now. And I hear God call to me. Seems like our time went so quickly. Can't remember being alone, but I remember two children playing in September, and you said that you'd love me, you'd never leave me alone. If I should die in the morning, if I should leave you alone, if I leave your heart unattended, I wait at the gates for you to come home. Life is short, it's never ending. Heart goes on, road goes wide, and my love sings the song that you wrote me, and the song I'll sing till the end of time. If I should die in the morning, and if I should leave you alone, if I leave your heart unattended, I wait at the gates for you to come home. I watch our sons grow to men. My daughter found a man of her own, and I miss the sound of children when it's quiet and we sit here all alone. If I should die in the morning, and if I should leave you alone, I want you to know, if I leave your heart unattended, I wait at the gates for you to come home. Sleep now, you're never alone. Sleep now, you're never alone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Lawrence and Connor to come up here in the middle of this song. So this is the band experience. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much again. I'm going to thank everybody. To all the guys here in my place. We've actually been here since yesterday. We didn't go home. It's so nice to be playing with people. There's musicians all over the country going, he's shit, but I don't care because I'm playing with people. Yeah, and hopefully we can get back. But in this time we need to support each other. We need hope. And we need to do the things that we love. You know, get out there and do it. You won't have to do it at home for much longer. Do it in a field. Get somebody to record it and put it out. But do what you do and what you do, you know, what you need to do to keep yourself going. The boys are going to come up here and stick in the middle of this. I'm just going to change the guitar while I do, just 2 seconds. So yeah, support musicians. I'd also like to say, and artists, painters, poets, sculptors, potters, everybody, get out there. Please, if you're in Ireland and listening to this, instead of spending all that money on Spotify and getting nothing really for it, go to Bandcamp. Get out there and spend money on local people. There's a million artists in this country and all of them are as good as this stuff that you hear on Spotify. Stop doing that to yourself. I'm old and cranky. And I just get out there and support your friends. Find that great music that's out there. Okay, I'm going to turn this down a tiny bit. So in the middle of this, the two boys are coming up here now. I was a fool, I was so much younger then. The night she took me by surprise. I should have known all the trouble that I'd be in. But then she hit me with those eyes. Her drink was gin and she said tonight was never gonna end. Her love weighed so heavy on my mind. For she was the living lover of a drummer called my friend. Wasn't nothing but a gypsy in disguise. Hey, gypsy woman, why'd you do that to me? Gypsy woman, stole my heart and then you set me free. Gypsy woman, where'd you learn to love like that? Gypsy woman, come on back. Spending my wages on roses and on wine. We'd drive through the day and we'd love through the night. And the things we would do in my OVW. The city lights never seemed so bright from the waterworks. And my friends, they would warn me saying, she's one fickle queen. You better get while the getting is good, my friend. And besides, your old drummer man is looking and he's so big and mad and mean. What I know right now is what I know too well. She played me like a violin. Yeah, gypsy woman, why'd you do that to me? Gypsy woman stole my heart and then set me free. Gypsy woman, where'd you learn to lie like that? Gypsy woman, come on back. So you tell me that you're leaving me now, after all the things that we have been through. Yeah, as my clown, how am I ever gonna go on? Somebody tell me now what I'm gonna do. Oh yeah, oh yeah, Lawrence. Was a rainy night in San Francisco. Darkness concealed the light of day, and the nighttime frightened reality away. Sees his father across the road, and he wonders if he's coming home. And he dreams of the mother he never knew. Take your fast train out of here. Get your worries and know your fear. When you return alone, take a slow train, take it on home. Younger sister patrols the street. She propositions every guy that she meets. She says, for an hour of my time, take you home and make you feel so fine. Younger army rules her head. Nobody cares, so soon she'll be dead. And there'll be one less heart to bleed, one less mouth to feed in San Francisco. Take a fast train out of here. Get your worries and know your fear. When you return alone, take a slow train. Darkness conceals the light of day. Darkness can take your hope away. In the summer of 1996, this guy appeared in San Francisco at the corner of Leavenworth and O'Farrell, and he stood on a crate and he reckoned he was from the future, and he could tell, he interprets dreams. So myself and my buddy decided we'd get our dreams interpreted. So, there's a lot of cat. Well, I don't expect anybody to do it, but anybody watching at home, if you want to meow like a cat or bark like a dog, this is part of it. So, it was kind of, you know, you walk up and you go, you, what do you want? What do you dream about? And I said, well, I dream about this, that, and the other. And he said, tell me one of your dreams. I mean, okay. This is the dream, by the way. Oh, I'm a sane by choice, no doubt about it. All the dogs, they know that the television lies. And the yellow-haired girl with a body like a baby who feels so complete when she's been up all night. And this party's in full swing and I'm flirting with my sister. And there's a January moon on the back of my car. There's another bleeding hand talking to a picture pole. Jimmy Dean made a promise he will never ever keep. And I'm showing off my tattoos to the yellow-haired girl. We're dancing on the ceiling and we should be sound asleep. And there's another broken finger on a hand just like mine. We're all doing the tango and we should be doing time. Woo-hoo! Someone screams out murder and a baby is conceived. My sister locks the bedroom door telling stories you would not believe. Yeah, my best friend's high on cola and his girlfriend's in a trance. I asked the yellow-haired girl maybe she would like to dance, and she said, my two left feet won't let me do what's right. She said, come back to my place, baby, and we can do it all night. Well, I'm standing in the parking lot of a two-seater motel. She tells me I'm an angel, then I'll send her back to hell, cause this angel ain't worth killing for the price you'd have to pay. And there's a hooker playing mommy in a room across the way. And all those businessmen are crawling for the babies up that night. There's a cat in the doorway and he's getting ready to fight. So I enter by the window, that's the way that I was born. Running from the bedroom, she takes this bull by the horn, and she's screaming now in Japanese, some Kama Sutra song. Doing something to me, a priest told me was very wrong. But if you keep pulling at me like that, baby, I'm gonna last all that long. But my words just fall on deaf ears. Oh, I'm insane by choice, no doubt about it. All the dogs, they know that the television lies. And the yellow-haired girl with a body like a baby feels so complete when she's been up all night. And this party's in full swing and I'm flirting with my sister. And there's a January moon on the back of my car. So he looked at me and he went, "You know what Freud said about the Irish?" And I goes, "No." He says, "You can't be analysed." So the inspiration for this album was a man called King George. Well, George King was his name, and he was a bartender in this dive bar that became our second home. And George was, 5'3", had these amazing stories, none of which we believed. He's, "I'd been a Marine for a number of years," and he actually did speak like that. And he had a particular saying that I thought was brilliant, that I found out afterwards was the Tom Waits line. He'd go, "I tell you all my secrets, but I lie about my past." And I thought, that's amazing, I'm going to steal that. Anyway, so I did steal it, but I had to change a bit of it. I want to thank Stan as well for the, he has it there, for that wonderful Tom Waits poem that he's done. A friend of mine a number of years ago, and I won't say where they got it, sent me Tom's address and his telephone number. So he has a copy of the album, so he'll be getting a copy of Stan's poem as well, whether he wants it or not. And I never got to meet him, but he does know I was around for a while. But anyway, so this night we closed up the bar. It's the nightcap, if you want to go and look at it. And we wandered off through the Tenderloin, and we met all these fantastic people, the people who were forgotten. And it was a killer for me how the richest country in the world treats its homeless, and it's poor and it's broken. Because having lived in that neighborhood, there were so many beautiful souls, homeless people, addicts, people who were lost, people who'd been chased away, people who'd run away from the most horrible situations only to end up in worse ones. But they were our neighborhood family, and they would say hello to you, and they'd ask you how you were and things like that. But anyway, so off we went. But we went to the Pinecrest Diner in there about 2:10, 2:15, and George had no filter. And there was some working girls behind us. And so George stuck his nose up in the ears. "Hang on," he says. "Ladies, I love the smell of cheap perfume. You're either a waitress or a hooker." And that was what cooked us on her. And this is for King George. "I love the smell of cheap perfume, so forgive me if I stare. You gotta be a waitress or a hooker. The San Francisco moon, and the stranger's fingers in my hair, and the time it takes to read between the lines. The feeling you get when you're down can only serve disorder. You're quiet before the sun up, the chorus of the day. Hey, what you doing Friday night? Maybe I can fit you in. Baby, I'm just joking about the hooker part. I'm just looking for a friend. You think I'll get into heaven past the saints and all my sins? You see, they always need a pretty face hiding somewhere in the wings. I'll tell you my secrets, but you judge me on my past. Something I can do to make you love me. Oh, babe, I thought I knew it all, but yeah, I got something to learn. Didn't think about tomorrow, my heart, it got burned. Fell in love with an angel, but the devil took my eyes. See, a blind man sees what he wants to see, and I just covered up the sign. The lies of a lover, the ones you need to hear. Something I can do to make you love me. What did he do? What did he say? Make your eyes so sad and break your heart that way. Won't you take the chance on the charity of a fool? But I won't promise you no picket fence. I gotta go, you see, I got me a nice little 9 to 5 and a tenderloin, you know. Thank you for your company, I'm gonna leave you with this tip. Don't go calling sharks when you're sinking in your ship. There's a light that shines in your eyes, the heart that's cracked but holding. Forgive me if I stare, I'm only dreaming. It's for King George. We got 2 more. And again, thank you so much for Stan, all the guys for setting the stuff up, for my daughter coming out the first time to see me gigging. Way! I had to wait till she was over 18. And none of what I said tonight is true, by the way, right? So just so you know. To the tower, the tower and power of Connor McSweeney and Lawrence Sweeney. And I'm Wayne McSweeney. And by the way, we're all Capricorns. We're married, he's not. And we will offer him up as a spot prize if anybody's interested. No, hang on, no. Ladies, we're only looking for ladies. And he is a catch because he's going to be Ireland's greatest drummer here pretty soon. So this is the battle. This is, on that same evening I met a number of people and throughout them who had been in foreign wars. And I don't know if Molly remembers, but there was one year we were coming back through Shannon and there was like 1,000 Marines there. They were everywhere. It was a big Hercules troop carrier. And so I think she was 4 or 5. And she said, Daddy, what are they doing? I said, I don't know. Let's go and ask. So we went over and she pulled on the shirt of a Marine. She says, sorry, sir. She says, what are you doing here? So he knelt down. He says, we're on holidays, but we're going back to work in Iraq. And I thought, work in Iraq. And standing in the arrivals hall and watching people, young people, 17, 18, people that you see in school uniforms here doing their leaving cert, who were had answered that call and gone off to fight this war, who couldn't figure out how to use a phone, although it was one of those, you know, I don't think they have them anymore, trying to figure out zip codes and telephone codes. But on this night in San Francisco, I met a number of veterans, and actually Molly's granddad fought in Vietnam, and if you bought the record, you'll hear what he had to say about some of it. The day he turned 18, he was given his draft notice and he was told to go off kill people in a foreign country. But so this song is three different letter writing was usually important then, but now we have social media, so you know you can have yourself photographed in Abu Ghraib, standing on prisoners or attacking them with dogs, or you know. But back then you weren't. It was letters, and you would write home and you would say to your parents or your friends, you know, I'm doing good. I'm standing up for our country. But when those letters went away and you went to sleep in your bunk, you were terrified. And it was, you know, it's a horrible thing that young men and young women answer that call. Well, it's a good thing, I suppose, for freedom, but they give their lives for us. And so this was a number of veterans who I had met throughout different wars. I'd never met anybody from the First World War, but the last piece, you know, I'm not that old yet. I'm 7, but I look much older. So, yeah, thanks a million for joining up, and this is called The Battle. Say we won't see the light of the dawn. Say we won't leave till this madness is done. Say we won't find ourselves nothing here, nothing but pain. Jimmy Hackett's just a baby, he's just turned 18. There's nothing he's left, nothing he's seen, but given the chance, he'll make somebody proud someday. battle raged on and 'tis now 3 years old. The stories I've written still remain untold. Hope that I'll see you in spring and I'll bring you good news. I don't know, I don't need. Feel it strong, destruction's great. Families die, so do I. Hearts of stone destroy their homes in the battle rage. In the battle. Father, hope this finds you well at home. You'd be proud, standing tall. I'll be home next year. I don't know what is wrong. Feel it now, feel it strong. I have killed, I don't love, don't believe in God above, and the battle rage, and the battle rage. Christmas Day, 1916, we traded pictures. People we never seen, you know, Mother, they almost seemed quite human. Took 1 hour, then it started. Now I run for cover. Now broken hearted, I'd taken a picture, someone I didn't know. I don't know, I don't need. Feel it strong, destruction's great. I can't feel love or pain. Arms are tired as I take aim in the battle rage, and the battle rage. We're going to leave you with this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tune in from now on. Here we go. Thank you. Happy Valentine's. And that's it. Can't seem to face up to the fact. Tense and nervous, can't look back. Don't touch me cause my bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wild psycho killer. qu'est-ce que c'est? Run, 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 run away. Oh, 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 oh. You start a conversation, you can't even finish it. You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. Say it once now say it again. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Better run, 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 run away. Oh, 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 oh. Aïe, 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 aïe. C'est qu'un appui, ce soir-là. C'est qu'un appui, ce soir-là. Non me quitte pas, ok. We are thin and we are blind. I hate people when they're not polite. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Better run, 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 run away. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Run, 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 run away. Oh, 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 oh. Aïe, 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 aïe. Thank you, good night. And good night in television land, Lawrence Sweeney, Connor, O'Regan. Good night.
Right, COVID, fuck it. Right, next week, Friday night, New Beginner, Killian McCarthy, tune in. And hopefully the Lost Gecko will be able to make it for Saturday night. They may have a little bit of an issue, but nonetheless, tune in. We're doing our best to keep the live arts moving here, okay? And live art has to stay alive, okay? And if anyone here wants to do a gig, anyone out there wants to do a gig, beginner's night once a week, and then the guys with more experience on Saturday nights, okay? So listen, tune in next week. Thank you so much. And they were absolutely brilliant. Give them another round of applause. Thank you.